Thank you for joining us. This is N24 TV, your innovative news, information and entertainment, and I am Sukay Jayusi. In the news this week, in the Gambia, Dr. Cisse challenges presidential candidates to debate. Dr. Ismaila Cisse of CA, part of the aspirant presidents of this coming election, says, as we edge closer to the nominations for the December 2021 elections, successfully nominated candidates must subject themselves to at least one national debate. Nomination of presidential candidates will begin on October 30th, and the former political science lecturer at the University of the Gambia has already set the pace by facing Honorable Halifa Sallah of Doi in a debate on the failure of Coalition 2016. Victims during JAMMEH'S era calls out for justice. On Monday, the lead counsel of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, Esambai Fall, paid a visit to the Victim Center, addressing some issues victims face during President JAMMEH'S era. Alimatu Juf has the rest of that story.
Victims who faced atrocities in the hands of the former regime are calling for justice. Former lead counsel of Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, Esambai Fall, said it is the responsibility of every single Gambian to do everything possible to ensure justice for these victims.
Every single Gambian to do everything possible to ensure justice for these victims. If we don't do that, we'll be failing in our responsibility to them. And any individual who participates in enforcing or reinforcing the impunity that we now face is betraying the aspirations of the Gambian people. I had made a personal commitment to make the issue of the victims of our 22 years of dictatorship a central course in my campaign. In fact, this is one of the principal reasons why I am running for president, because I have no confidence, zero confidence, that the report of the TRRC would see the light of day under this government.
He further said there will be no reconciliation without justice, and the perpetrators must face justice.
We say no to impunity. We say no to injustice. We say no to reconciliation without justice. We say that the perpetrators must face justice. But you know, I thank God for international law. You see, when I delivered that address, that impromptu closing address at the TRRC, I said that if this government does not act, Ghana would act. If Ghana doesn't act, West Africa would act. If West Africa doesn't act, Africa would act. If Africa doesn't act, the United Nations would act. If the United Nations doesn't act, then the ICC would act. And the train has left the station. There is nothing they can do about it. Absolutely nothing. You know why? Crimes that happened in this country are crimes that shock the human conscience. And the whole civilized world have converged together in Rome in 1998 to craft an international treaty that would bring about an end to violations, gross violations of human rights that amount to crimes against humanity. And indeed, what happened in this country were crimes against humanity. They cannot do anything about it.
Son of the late Dot Fall, said Fall, whose father was killed when he was 8 months, said every human deserves to have rights.
Right. Well, nekkul ne like dañ nekk victim like moo tax ñu taxaw di jéem a side for comme our own interest or justice. No.
But this is something
lii dafa nekk loo
that
xam ne
every Gambian should be free. Every Gambian shouldn't be treated like slave.
Every Gambian
this is
waruñ
even
la
worse than
treat
slavery,
like
because treating
slave
them in a
or
way that is against the law.
It's worse than
Another
even
regime
slavery.
comes, we
Because of
thought
our
we
own
would see
people,
changes. We see the same thing, the same constitution. There are over 1,000 victims registered at the Victim Center. UN made a recommendation that all those perpetrators must be brought to justice. Victim Center was established in April 2017. Justice must prevail, said the International Criminal Court. Reporting for N24, I am Alimatu Diouf.
Market vendors plead with government to solve their problems. Vendors at the Serekunda market has called on the Gambian government to help them with necessities at the market and solve the current erratic power supply, which according to them is seriously affecting their business and livelihood. Our Keisane has the rest of that story.
Mariama, a market vendor, explains their difficulties in the market during the rainy season. She said that the constant stagnant water has been a problem for them.
Some of the times during the rainy season, we do have a lot of problems because the stagnant water is always too much here. You can still see the stagnant water, it doesn't get dry.
Mariama further appealed to the council authorities to shift from bringing the sewage trucks from early morning to the night when they have already done their selling. She mentioned that the market is the only place they depend on to put food on the table and make ends meet.
The sewage truck always disturb us a lot. We will just come early in the morning to do our daily sales when the tax collector will come to collect tax. If they could bring the sewage trucks during the night or in the early hours of the morning before we will come for our daily sale, because here is the place we can earn and the sales also.
The selling of commodities are very slow nowadays because commodities are expensive.
Now commodities are expensive and people are saying it's the president's fault, and it's not his fault. The businessmen do whatever they want. The businessmen should reduce the price of the commodity.
In the Gambia, there should be a price control in the market. Not everyone that comes to the market has the same living standards, a market vendor told us.
Now it's difficult to have commodities. Even to get a shake in the market is always a problem. Things are really difficult and the market is also difficult.
Also speaking on the problems they are faced with is Kodunyai, another market vendor. She cries about the problems of lack of ice bag to preserve their fish due to the unavailability of electricity nowadays.
We the fish sellers face problems because we do buy our fish from the seaside and it's expensive, and when you bring it you won't have any ice bag to freeze it with. And if there is no ice bag, it can't go. And we are pleading for them to help us the electricity issue.
Reporting for N24, I am Awake Sare.
And now with the internationals. Siabata, also known as karité, is being appreciated by the Chinese. It is no news that siabata or karité is well known and used by many in the Gambian society. It's locally made and used for different purposes. Little do Gambians appreciate the locally made siabata, but Chinese in their large numbers are seen appreciating it. Let's take a look at this video.
对，今天还可以。
下次按散装就按斤，拿个秤，拿个秤你就不要装了，一寸1斤1斤。好。要不要我给你装一会儿？装。再给我瓶子，我再装一个。要不要我给你装？要。我给他装。好。好像没问题。
Grâce à Fatim, c'est un paradis farafina donc au Chine.
Sino laje mega situlu publicité ka tuwa mina ko ka situlu ke fe wala impolo ya da ko fuwa donc ara nya bala de bugonen fi ibe baro bala la kanu doro ni ya kanu wallahi ibe no kwala anya be situlu la sino be ka situlu ke ko fuwa aw ara nya bula de mais situlu bu ta ta fe kana plan nene a briti de fi o de kera dosha Jambu dosa. No square. Ay nya bala de. Tulu e kele flani sanga wule ni eta.
Wa to tege.
Baru be ka ku tege la ka ku nyaw la fembe. Wi shitu. Shitulu wallahi. Ay nya bala de. Yoron te publicité blé. Ni publicité.
Thank you for joining us, and that was all we have for you in today's news bulletin. Until then, it's a bye from me.